All right, here's the Unit 1 review, real numbers, and there are 4 questions on the exam. The learning target is, I can categorize and order real numbers. Okay, some vocabulary. Ascending, that means least to greatest. Descending means greatest to least. Scientific notation is a method to shorten long numbers. Okay, so it's kind of a way to write it in a more simpler form. We have the real number system. So when you're dealing with the real number system, okay, most times they use like rectangles to do it, sometimes circles or ovals, but you've got real numbers. And real numbers are classified into 2 different groups. Either rational numbers, like 0.5 or 1/8, or irrational numbers is a totally separate category, and that includes things like pi or square root of 3 or crazy numbers like that. Then rational numbers are broken down into smaller categories. So the first category that they're broken down to is integers, like -12. That's an integer. Integers are then broken down into whole numbers, and the only number that's included in whole numbers that's not included in the next category is 0. And then the last category, the smallest category, is called natural numbers. Okay, we've got some calculator steps when you're going to be putting numbers in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. And so on your calculator, again, just like in Unit 2, you have to make sure that your RAM is cleared. So second plus 712 will clear the RAM. Okay, when you're putting your stuff in your calculator, let's say we've got an example like this. 3, 10%, square root of 8, 4 1/3, and -3 2/5. And it wants to know what is the order from least to greatest or greatest to least. So to do that, you hit stat, okay, and then you're going to go to 1, which is edit, stat, edit, and you're going to put all of your numbers in list 1 because you're going to sort this list. So you would hit 3, enter. When you have a percentage, that's a fraction out of 100. So you'd hit 10 divided by 100 to get that fraction, enter, and it converts it to a decimal. Okay, so this changes this to 0.1. This didn't change, it stayed as 3. Then you'd go square root of 8, second, square root 8, enter, and it changes it to 2.8284. When you're doing a mixed number, 4 plus 1 divided by 3, so that puts it in like that, and that changes it to 4.3 repeating. And then if you have a negative number, you hit the negative sign at the bottom, then parentheses, 4 plus 1 divided by 3, so that you have it like that. So you keep the negative away from the rest of the digits, and so that changes it. Oh, I typed in the wrong number, but you get the idea, okay? To -3.4 is what that would change it to. Let me just change it in there, 3.4. There we go, okay? Then, so that's how you put all your data in. All of it goes in list 1. Then you're going to hit stat, and you want it to sort. So A is going to put it from least to greatest, and D is going to go greatest to least. So it depends on the question. So let's say we sort A, hit 2, and then you have to tell it what to sort. So you want it to sort list 1, which if you see in blue, it's right there. So you'd hit second, and then 1, and then it'll tell you done. It is sorted list 1. So on your notes, you hit stat 2, sort A, or 3, sort D for ascending or descending. It depends on the question. Then you hit second. Then you hit the number 1, and then you hit enter. Okay, and it'll tell you done. After you've got that, you have to go back to where you entered the number. So you hit stat, and then 1 to get back to edit. So stat 1, and there's your list in order from least to greatest. Okay, first question. Put the following number in scientific notation. So my decimal is here, and I want it to go here because I want my first term to be less than 10 but more than 1. So I have to move my decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. That's how many places, how many place values my decimal had to move. So I got my first term, 6.78, times 10 to the negative 6th power because it went from left to right. So that makes it negative. What number did you use for the power of 10? I used negative 6. So I put that in there as a whole number, negative 6. I'm going to bubble the negative and the 6. During 5 months, building permits for new housing development increase the amounts below. And these are my numbers. Which list shows the amounts in order from greatest to least? So I come back to my calculator, clear your RAM, and then start entering in your numbers in the stat edit menu. Okay, so I have 1 divided by 5, 9 divided by 100, because it's a percentage, 0.083, enter, 0.08, enter, and then 0.07, enter. Okay, and it says greatest to least, so we want to sort it descending. So stat 3, again, second 1 for list 1. Hit enter and it tells you done. And then go back, stat, edit, and now it's in order. Okay, so once you've done that and you've marked it as you go, you'll see that 1/5 has to come first. Which statement is true or false? All integers are rational numbers. That is true. If it's an integer, it is also rational. All negative numbers are integers. That is false because you could have something like negative 0.5. That's not an integer. 3.87655 is a rational number. That's true because it comes to an end. If it ends, it's rational. The square root of 7 is a real number. That is true. It's irrational, but it's also real. And all fractions are integers. That is false. Next one. Place the following numbers on the correct points on the line. So you would want to just probably do this in your normal screen of your calculator and just type these in. So square root of 10, second, square root 10 equals 3.16. So you could just kind of record this as you go. 3.16, square root of 23, 4.79, square root of 17, 4.12, and then square root of 14, 3.75. Okay, so then you can look at your numbers. Okay, 4.79 is going to be real close to 5. So this would be the square root of 23. 3.75 is going to be real close to 4, but not over it. So this is the square root of 14. 4.12 is just past 4, so that's the square root of 17. And then 3.16 would be over here, so square root of 10. And then last question, which list shows the numbers below in order from greatest to least? So you probably want to write your numbers off to the side so you can write the decimals down that go with it. Otherwise, you're going to get confused with what decimal goes with which number. Okay. There we go. So then you go back to your calculator, stat, edit, and since it's negatives, I'm going to use parentheses to separate it. So negative and then parentheses square root 5, which equals negative 2.236, negative parentheses 7 divided by 8 is negative 0.875, okay, negative parentheses 0.8, so negative 0.8, negative parentheses 79, oh, and I think this was percent, yep, 0.8 divided by 100, so negative 0.798, and then the last one, negative parentheses 82.2, enter, and so that equals negative 82.2. So keep track of what your originals were and what they were converted to in the calculator. Then you are putting them in order from greatest to least. So stat, sort descending, list 1. So that was second one. Done. Then go back to your menu, stat, edit, and that puts you in order. So you'll see that this needs to come first, and then 0.8 comes second, and then 0.875 comes third, right? And so then you can use that, okay, the percentage has to come first, so it can't be either of those. Then the, oh, did I do that wrong? Yep. Okay, and so eventually you'll end up with letter C.